Thank you very much. Now, I'm Eleanor Crowther, and for my sins, I set up the Old Trafford Heritage and History Group. Now, we set it up more years ago than I like to remember, because a friend of mine had died, and I was saying that his memories died with him. And I thought that the memories of Old Trafford shouldn't die. We went along to the heritage section in Sale Library. They have a beautiful heritage section, but nothing about Old Trafford. There's one book about Old Trafford in that library, nothing else. So this is the thing why we started having these sort of meetings, so people can tell us their memories. We record them, produce DVDs, and on those DVDs, we've got the heritage of Old Trafford. On the tables, you'll find pictures that we've put out, hopefully all of Old Trafford. Now, the thing is, people say, oh, I haven't got anything to talk about in Old Trafford. Well, the sort of things that we've uncovered as we've gone along are in the public hall that used to be, it's now, I think it's a pub, is it? Trafford Bar. Now, this is saying that on Mondays and Thursdays, 2 till 4, the health visitor was at public hall. During the war, you had to be registered. This is my registration card, believe it or not, because it says identity card on it. When you open it up, it's got the official stamps, so I am official. And it says, this is the national registration of Eleanor Reader. Reader was my maiden name. And I resided at 35 Oxford Street, Old Trafford, and it's signed by my dad, R. Reader, on the 22nd of May, 1942. So that's it. And this is the sort of things that we're trying to make sure people know about, because they don't realise that we did, when you say you need ID cards, it's not a new thing. We all had ID cards during the war, because if you got blown up, they needed to know who you were. I don't know how many of you remember the taxi drivers used to take the children out. This is what this is. That's my son-in-law dressed up as Ronald McDonald. We put a hamburger on the front of the taxi. We used to spend the whole of the night before decorating the taxi up to take. But in the wisdom, the council decided to stop it. The reason they gave for stopping it was they couldn't afford the insurance. Now, that meant that all the disabled children that used to have a wonderful day out couldn't have it anymore. The taxi drivers gave up a full day with no pay because they weren't working to go out. They did raffles and things to raise money to give gifts to the children, but all that stopped. We used to have a pageant. Memories of the pageant? Anybody that's got any memories of the pageant photographs, I'd be very grateful if they let me copy them. Now, again, this was stopped. The reason it was stopped and the reason that was given, speed bumps. Health and safety said it wasn't safe to drive over the speed bumps with the children on the back of the lorries. Pageant got stopped. Another thing that's gone from Old Trafford.
Trafford stopped. No.
Well, the whole thing has stopped now.
Yeah, but they tried to take it over from Old Trafford when it was Old Trafford, and they took it over, and the next thing you know, it's gone.
Well, again, because Stratford, the route that they were using, had speed bumps and they were stopped, same as us. This is when the Jubilee was on, and they gave Jubilee crowns to all the school children, and that's the mayor giving them out at Stratford Grammar School. So things like this are what we're trying to preserve. So if any of you have any photographs of Old Trafford, I'd be very grateful if you let us copy them. We don't damage your photographs. All we do is take a picture of your photograph and use that, which is, as you can see, that's a copy of a photograph. So if you have anything, please let me know. And so we will get on with talking about Old Trafford.
Hi everybody, my name's Jeanette McLaughlin, born Jeanette Kennedy in Stratford Memorial Hospital in 1945. I've been in Old Trafford for the past 45 years. My mum told me the story that during the war, they had to get out of one house because it had been bombed, or the next door neighbour had been bombed, and they had to leave that house. So she tramped around the streets of Old Trafford to find a house that still had windows in it. And she found one in Furswood, and she went back to the first house, found a ragbone man in his cart, and she put all the family's belongings onto the ragbone cart and brought them to the new house. And went back to get my brothers from school and brought them back. And then she brought them home, and she forgot to tell my dad where they'd gone. So my dad went back to the old house. It was empty, and one of the neighbours told him where she'd gone with the children.
Hello, my name is John Cullen. I used to live in Salford, and I used to go and watch all the matches at Old Trafford. And what happened, we went from St Clement's School, and I left there at 15 and went for my first job, and that was at the box works in Cross Lane. And we went there and went to see the match at Old Trafford. And then I left there when I was 15 and went to work at the Crown Wallpaper. And from there, was there when the plane crash in 1958. And from there, I've just gone different places, you know, in Salford and all that. Okay.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ian McDonald. I'm Scottish, as you know. I'm an incomer to Old Trafford. I first came here in 1993 from Dundee, back in Scotland. And I've got so many happy memories of Old Trafford from an Islamic point of view, because I'm a part of the Muslim community, and I'm just, the first time I went to see Manchester United was shortly after we came down here in 1993. By birth, I'm a Glaswegian. I support Celtic, not Rangers. And it was a friendly match, and Celtic got beat, I think it was 3-1. So that's going back 30 years ago. There's other memories, but there's so many. So thank you very much indeed.
Okay.
My name's Winifred Mannion, and I was born on Milner Street in Old Trafford in 1955. And growing up, kind of about 5, that's when you started playing out by the time you joined school, St Alphonsus. And it was a lovely, lovely, happy place to live. There was always children. Every house had children. Every house had children, so there was always someone to play with. And there was lots of Irish, lots of Polish people all around. And then when you went down Moss Side, down Alexandra Road, it was absolutely stunning. All the shops, you know, West Indian food we'd never seen before, vegetables, salt fish in barrels. Oh, it was just magical. It was very, very happy childhood, yeah. It was lovely. And I remember just round the corner on Norton Street, this is an abiding memory of the childhood, there was a family and they had triplets, and they were identical triplets, and we'd never seen this ever. And it was very unusual in those days to have these identical triplets. Yeah. And there used to be an army base as well at the top of Milner Street, Norton Street. And you'd always get army families living there. And they were really interesting because they'd been all over the world in different places, and you'd play with the children. Yeah, it was just a lovely place to live. Yeah.
I'm Teresa Griffith, Teresa Sheehan. I was born in Powell Street, back in Ontawinnie, in 1955, when we went to St Alphonsus School from the age of 5. As Winnie said, it was a great place to grow up. We had a coal man came around every week with us, and he used to deliver coal down your grid, sacks on his back. It was a horrible, dirty job, but it was that. The bin men used to come every week, and they used to carry huge, big metal bins from your back entry all the way round to the front. The rag and bone man came round all the time, but he was on a horse and cart. And if you gave him any rags, you got a pumice stone for cleaning your step, for whitening your step. Donkey stone. Yeah. Well, it was pumice stone, wasn't it? Yeah. So it was a very nice place to grow up. We walked around here. These was all terraced houses here, which were taken down in the slum clearance of the late 60s, early 70s. Although those houses would be lovely now if they'd just been renovated. I was taken out as a little child when the Munich air disaster, when the United players were killed in Germany. The cortege came down Seymour Grove, came down Stretford Road and round by, and all the coffins were in a big long line, went past Old Trafford, and me and my twin brother were taken out as little babies in the evening time. It was night time to see this. Of course, I don't remember that. I remember being told that.
I was stood on the steps of the cinema.
There you are. We were taken out of school to see Yuri Gagarin, who was the first man in space, who came to Brooks Bar, to the old Union building. Well, it's still there. The building's still there. Yeah. But lots and lots of memories, but all very happy memories of Old Trafford, and they're still here. That's Yuri Gagarin.
1962.
I was stood outside the memorial.
You were there, yeah. So it was all amazing, wasn't it? My granddad joined the war. My mum and dad were evacuated. They lived on Ayres Road, my mum and my dad. And my granddad was in the Home Guard. And when Trafford Bar was being bombed, the incendiary bombs were put all over the place to light up the sky, so the bombers could see where to bomb. And my granddad used to have a big hook to hook the incendiary bombs off the buildings to stop them going up in flames. Wow. On Ayres Road. And all down Ayres Road, all the shops were, whoever said, all the windows were blown in. And my dad, who was only about, I don't know how old he was then, early teens, 45, he stood at one of the shops because he worked in it to make sure nobody raided it and nobody stole any of the goods. There we are now. Lots more, but that's me for now.
That's really good. When you walk through a storm, hold your head up high, and don't be afraid of the dark. At the end of a storm, there's a golden sky and a sweet silver song of a lark. Walk on through the wind, walk on through the rain, though your dreams be tossed and blown. Walk on with hope in your heart, and you'll never walk alone. You'll never
Hello, I'm Tracy. I'm from Old Trafford originally. My parents came to England from Jamaica in 1962 and lived on Shrewsbury Street to start off with, and then in 1963 bought a house on Milner Street, a couple of doors up from Winifred. My dad worked at GEC at Trafford Park, and my mum worked at Withington Hospital on they called it the geriatric ward in those days. Don't think you can say that anymore. I remember Old Trafford being a really great place to live, always playing out in the street. Summers were really hot, the tar bubbled on the pavement and you used it like Play-Doh. I went to Seymour Park School. My sister went to St Bride's School. My parents got married at St Bride's Church, which was here. Don't know what else to say. We've always been to the same butchers on Ayres Road. Kenyon's, and he's still there. Yeah, Old Trafford was just a really great place to live. My mum used to take us on Sundays to Hullard Park for a walk. She'd make us go out just to walk around the garden because it was pretty. Yeah, I don't know what else to say really, but it was a nice place to live. Great community, wonderful shops, and you could leave your door open without locking it. I can remember that. Yeah, that was Old Trafford.
Hi, my name is Margaret Carling, and I've lived here all my life, in Old Trafford, I mean. I first got married in 1978. I've got 2 children. One of them lives in Germany, the other one lives in Denton. I've just always been here. I went to Seymour Park School. I know this lady here, and we all sort of hung around together, didn't we? I think, and all the kids mixed in together, and it didn't matter whether you were Catholic, Protestant, green, brown, purple. It didn't matter. Everybody got together and just got stuck in with everything and coped with everything the way we always were. And it was just such a nice area to grow up in. We spent the days on the street playing cricket in Kingy and falling out of trees. Yeah, falling out of trees at the back of St John's in the alleyway. I climbed up that wall and come down that bloody tree so quick. Yeah, kick can as well. Yeah, we used to play in South Alphonse's ground. When the school wasn't open, we'd all go in there. And it was so good. And everybody just mixed in with each other. So there
was no cars on the road, there was only one car in our street.
That's right. There weren't many cars on Carlton Street either, you know. So it was good. But yeah, I've stayed in Old Trafford and everybody keeps trying to get me out of Old Trafford and I won't move. So they can carry me out in a coffin, you know, I'm not moving. So I stayed. So now, even though most of my family are dead now, you know, but I've still got my kids and everything. But my son won't even come to Old Trafford. He'll come and takes me shopping once a week and that's it. But I said, you don't know what it was like living here. It was great. So everybody was just so friendly. And we had a wide range of foods and music and everything, didn't we? Always. And it was just so good. Because I spent many a happy hour down the Nile Club, you know. So, that's about it. Thanks.
I'm the odd one here. I'm from Preston. I came in 1959 in a boat. It took us 20 days from India to Tilbury Dock. When I first came, we were in pajamas because we didn't have a clue what to wear. It was cold. So my dad lived in Preston. And it was cold, foggy. We had just 1 2-bedroom top, and about 10 people lived in the house. Growing up, didn't speak a word of English, but we went skating with the boys. And then we swapped comics from one end of Preston to other end of Preston, just to swap comics. We walk all the far. We made boogies, go to scrapyard, when they sell radio and make television scrap, we take magnets out. Spend whole day just taking the magnet out. As I was growing up, we used to go to Latham St. Anne's for swimming for 3 pence. We cycled all the way from Preston to Latham St. Anne's. We cycled back again. And I think I grew up knowing what boys were like boys in those days. I remember cycling New Holland at night, about 10 o'clock, no hands. The policeman stopped me and he just whacked me. And I shall still remember. And if he come to my house, I didn't tell my dad I got smacked by a policeman. He'll smack me more as well. So that's how it was. I think I love my childhood in Preston. When I moved to Manchester in 1980, I bought a shop in Longside. And since then, my wife and we loved Old Trafford. We used to do it all together one time. But now she won't swap anything for Old Trafford because everything's nearby. The people are nice. The shops are there. Community is there as well. And they asked me, what do you think of Manchester? Old Trafford, I think it's a dream.
My name, as you will have heard at the beginning of this, is Eleanor Crowther. I was Eleanor Reader before I got married. Now, the story of how I come to live in Old Trafford is my father and the rest of my family all come from Norfolk. He was a deep sea trawler fisherman, but during the war, the Second World War, they mined, and so they couldn't do trawler fishing because they would have pulled the mines up and blown themselves up. So the government in their heyday said, oh, the war's only going to go on till Christmas, so come to Manchester and work on the docks, there's work for you there. So of course that's what he did. And then they came and the war went on, as we all know, a lot longer than Christmas. So the government then said, oh, we'll pay for your families to come to Manchester because it's a shame to split families up. So that's what they did. And the year after they came to Manchester, I was born. My mum said if she'd have known what was waiting in Manchester, she wouldn't have come. So I'm the youngest of 11 children. And I lived in a house with gas lighting until I was 18, which is, I was born in 1942, so work it out. It's still quite, they had outside toilet, no bathroom. We used to have to go to Bath Crescent to have what is now Bath Crescent. In those days, it was what we called a slipper baths. And so we could go and have a bath there, pay 5 pence, a shilling, and you could go. So, as I say, really, that's how I come to be born in Manchester, and I've lived all my life in Old Trafford. I was born in Oxford Street. I got married and moved to Barrett Street when they knocked it down for the redevelopment in 1970. I moved to the house I'm in now, and so I've lived all my life for 80 years in Old Trafford.
My name is Verity Gardner and I am the community connector for Right to the Streets. Eleanor and David, which I'm very pleased about, they approached me with an idea for doing some events for the Heritage and History Group. So I've met Eleanor now on a few occasions and we've worked together on a few different projects, and it's been amazing to hear these stories, see these photos and the artefacts that people have kept. I've lived in Old Trafford for 6 years now and I absolutely love it. I think there is a real sense of community here, and I hope I can do some more good work in the community with you all. So thank you.
Yeah, what I remember growing up in Old Trafford, we had fantastic parks. From Longford Park with the lovely hall, then we had Seymour Park, Hullard Park, Alexandra Park, and there was stunning, the gardeners that were there, the flower displays. In Alexandra Park especially, they used to have parks within the park. Yeah, little areas a family could go in and have a picnic. And they all used to have bandstands. And on a Sunday, you would have music, proper bands there, and it was just wonderful. And then also on a Sunday, you'd hear the brass band coming, and it'd be the Boys Brigade, and everyone would be out on the street while the Boys Brigade went up Milner Street, Powell Street, Ayres Road. It was absolutely lovely. And the pageants, yeah, we used to have and the fair. We used to have the big fair in Longford Park, yeah. But another huge thing when we were small was bonfires. There was no such thing as an organised bonfire. Everyone had bonfires in the entry, and how houses didn't burn down and back gates was beyond me, because there were just you all, you know, built a guy, and it was penny for the guy, and these amazing bonfires.
All in the middle of the bloody alleyways.
Yeah. And the next day, then in the Manchester Evening News, and it was that big newspaper, and it was always the amount of children that used to be burnt on bonfire night, and they'd be at Booth Hall Hospital. Yeah, but the other thing is, when we were 11, then we went swimming at Trafford Park Baths, and we used to go up. We used to get our pocket money on a Saturday, and we used to go up to Trafford Park, and it was the first time I'd ever seen a public baths, because we had indoor bathrooms in our houses, and I was really shocked, you know, that you could hire a towel and a bar of soap, and women used to go and do the washing there, and there'd be big racks where they'd all dry all the washing and the sheets. So that used to be an eye-opener. And the other thing then, when we got a bit older, we discovered the open-air swimming pool, the Galleon. And we used to go up, do you remember, we used to get the 22 from Chawton Street bus station, I think it was. Yeah. And he used to bring us up, and you'd get off at Parrs Wood and just walk up. And it's where the Waterside is now, Health Club. But that used to be an open-air swimming pool. And we'd just spend the whole day there when we were children. Yeah. So they're great memories, yeah.
So we found out that our lovely Kashur, who we've all met today, is having some surgery on his knee next week. So we wish him all the very best. And over to John for a song.
Yeah, thank you. Right. If you were the only girl in the world, and I was the only boy, nothing else would matter in the world today. We would go on loving in the same old way. A garden of Eden just made for two, with nothing at all but joy. I would say such wonderful things to you.